Great. Okay. Welcome, everyone, and good morning. I'm Sarah Bromsmiller, and I am the program manager for Community. In today's session, Karthik is going to lead us through the Reltio enrichment with DNB data blocks. Just a few housekeeping items before we start. These sessions are all recorded and then posted to Community, so please keep yourselves on mute. We have a few Q&A rules. If you can have any questions, please add them into the chat. For any questions that we don't get to, if we don't get to any questions, then we will answer those questions in the blog post that we put up on Community after the show. Feel free again to ask questions in the chat. If you have a question during the show, please raise your hand, use the raise your hand feature, and we will try to get to you if you have a question like in the immediate. Go ahead and go to the next slide, Karthik. These community presentations are for our Reltio customers, partners, and potential investors, sharing our vision for current and future product features. While our plans may change, we recommend continuing to engage with your customer success manager if you happen to be interested in any of the features that we present in our community shows, past, present, and future. And with that, I'm going to pass this on to Karthik Thomas, and he will start his presentation.
Thank you, Sarah. So, hello, everyone, and hope you all are doing great. I'm Karthik Thomas. You can call me KT, and I'm the product manager for the integrations and workflows product area at Reltio. It is my pleasure to conduct this community webinar on a very important topic, that is the Reltio enrichment with DNB data blocks. Just bringing up the agenda slide for the things that we would be covering today. What is the pain you're solving? A brief intro of the Reltio integration hub, and then we jump right into the data blocks enrichment and how we built it, which features do we support out of the box. So moving to, like what is the pain that we are solving when it comes to, the whole topic of offering integrations and with the mode being RIH. So one of the biggest blockers to realizing MDM value is the inability to integrate trusted data into day-to-day business processes. So why? Because integrating that data is often slow, expensive, and complex. New integrations typically mean costly IT projects in themselves, which could be months of work and enormous budgets. Second, connectivity is limited. Many MDM solutions out there in the market only link to a few systems, leaving much of the organization or the IT landscape disconnected from accurate data. And thirdly, what I can think of is adding multiple different tools to solve this integration problem eventually increases system complexity, which drives up both risk and cost. So at Reltio, we are solving this by making trusted data integration faster, simpler, and scalable without the traditional overheads that I was referring to. Now, what do we really do at Reltio? Our mission is to accelerate time to value, and a big part of that is making integration seamless. The Reltio Integration Hub, or RIH, eliminates the typical complexity and cost of integration projects. We make it simple to connect and orchestrate trusted data across your enterprise, whether you're syncing with CRMs, data lakes, enrichment apps, or analytics tools. Our low code, no code approach eliminates that complexity. It's just a drag, drop, and click to building a configured workflow. The user-friendly interface lets business and IT users alike automate with confidence, while enterprise-grade security measures that data is protected at every step, at rest and in motion, with end-to-end encryption, key rotations, and retention controls. So that's in a nutshell, all of this does mean faster integration, broader data reach, and simplified architecture. So as I now start, exploring the granular level details of the different integrations or the pre-built capabilities that Reltio offers, just a couple of weeks back, I was hosting a webinar on an application integration that we support. That is the Reltio integration with Salesforce, the bidirectional sync with Salesforce. That's something we covered a couple of weeks ago. Today, obviously, our focus will be on a data enrichment integration. Obviously, this is not bidirectional, this is unidirectional in the sense that we get enrichment information from our trusted partner, that is Dun& Bradstreet or DNB. So that's the focus on, like, that's the topic of today's focus. We also offer quite a few, like around, on the ingestion side as well as on the sharing side. There are different types of integrations that we support. But today I'll restrict myself to talking about the DNB data blocks integration. It is also important to note for the participants here that Reltio also recently released a refreshed version of their pre-built integration to for this DNB data blocks enrichment. Internally, we refer to it as, say, a version 2.0, but now that is the only official integration or the pre-built integration capability that we offer. We will speak about its key features and improvements that we have achieved in this version in the later slides. So starting with Reltio enrichment with DNB data blocks, let's answer the what, why, and the when of it. So what is it? So the pre-built RIH package to enrich profiles using Dun & Bradstreet Data Cloud. That's what the Reltio enrichment with DNB data blocks package really is. It includes the recipes, as we call it. It includes the integration recipes, the necessary connectors, the APIs, and templates for easy deployment. What does it primarily do? It matches and enriches your profiles or your entities using trusted DUNS-based identity resolution. Secondly, why would you need it? Why would you use it? You wish to improve the trust in your data with pre-mastered proprietary data and business activity signal information. You would want to eliminate duplicates and unify customer, vendor, or partner records, generally in the domain of organization. You support your business goals, which would obviously be around reducing risk, cutting costs, enhancing segmentation, and accelerating your initiatives towards data compliance, customer data compliance. And lastly, you want to further power decisions with complete up-to-date business intelligence. Let's answer the when would I use it? Well, when your current entity records or profiles around organization, whether it is customer, vendor, or partner, supplier, they lack reliable firmographic, financial, or corporate linkage information. You wish to identify corporate linkages or hierarchies and cross-link those related entities for a single unified view. You would also further embellish that data with verified principles and contact information to ensure a better outreach and governance. Also, additionally, you have a keen interest in classifying your profiles by diversity attributes to support supplier diversity and ESG initiatives. Now, obviously, when I talk to these points, these eventually marry into the different data blocks that DNB or Dun & Bradstreet provide, and the pre-built integration capability that we roll out also, inherently supports certain data blocks out of the box. At the same time, the solution, very typical of an RIH integration, is extensible. So we will come to that, we will also support, if you have been licensed for additional data blocks, that is a level of customization that you can further extend the solution to include, and you'll not have to rely on some other solution just because certain data blocks that you're licensed for are not included in the pre-built integration recipes. So moving on, the architecture diagram, I wouldn't spend more time here. We will talk about this in detail. This really talks about the different enrichment modes that we support when we talk about the integration. In a nutshell, yes, there are real-time modes, both at a level of the UI buttons. It's an on-demand enrichment. or real-time enrichment driven by AWS SQS trigger. And thirdly, we support obviously the batch enrichment as well, which generally caters to use cases around initial data load and initial data enrichment. So that is the direction, and like any data cleansing validations or supporting any attribute level transformations and mappings. The Reltio integration hub in the center is nothing but the pre-built capability or the pre-built integration that is really up on offer here. So before I delve directly into the integration in itself, or say a demo of how the enrichment would look like on a standard Reltio tenant, for some of our audience here, as well as for those who would refer to this webinar later, let's also address certain key data points around certain DNB terminologies that we will constantly be referring to in this integration. So one being importantly the dunce number. So what exactly is the dunce number, which gets clearly identified as a unique identifier? Well, it is a proprietary unique 9-digit identifier and a global standard for business identification. The number in itself is never reused or reissued. Once assigned, it belongs to that entity forever. Uh, a small, side note here that even if the number for a given entity changes due to any reason such as transfer, acquisitions, or mergers, even in that case, the number originally assigned is never reutilized or repurposed, for another organization. So that's the life of that particular dunce number. Uh, Primarily, it serves as a universal key to standardize and harmonize company data across systems, and it enables accurate corporate family linkage and a continuously updated view of company structure and viability. The other concept we would be referring to, we also call this integration, the Reltio enrichment with DNB data blocks. So what are data blocks? The concept obviously stems from how DNB defines it. Organized data building blocks that make DNB's vast data easier to consume and apply to specific business use cases. They can be broken down into these three concepts. Like, they are licensed by domain. Example, whether your data enrichment needs are around sales and marketing information, finance, supply, compliance, or general enterprise master data requirements. They are, at the end of the day, how they are delivered is data blocks. Data blocks are nothing but logical groupings of the related data elements by topic. And now within these data blocks, they are available in data levels. So these are segmented, tailored views to customer requirements, like tailored to customer requirements and the data consumption needs. So there are many that DNB license can support, and this always is generally a discussion between our customers and DNB that results in customers coming to us telling us that these are the data blocks they intend to license. The ones that we have chosen in this pre-built integrated capability are like, we haven't cherry-picked these. These are the ones that are most commonly used. These are handy for most of the business use cases, especially for customers of an MDM solution. And we continuously keep enhancing this integration even on our roadmap to include more. And like I said, I would repeat, even if we support, say, the 4 that you see on this slide, whether it's company information data block or hierarchies and connection, principals and contacts, and diversity insights. If there is a 5th or a 6th or a 7th data block that you are licensed to use, that does not stop you from using this integration. You are very well expected to use that integration, build in some customization within that very same capability to include additional data blocks and those relevant mapped attributes against those data blocks. The recipe that we offer, the integration that we offer, is fully extensible as per your business needs. Going ahead, we will also hit upon a concept of monitoring. This again is a DNB like a DNB term that we are borrowing. It's a capability that the integration now supports. It used to support it in the earlier versions anyway. What we have brought in is what I'll come to towards the last. So monitoring in itself as a functionality is only available for data blocks that have been licensed and included in your DNB contract. So it is important to remember that even though the baseline integration or the baseline enrichment capability has certain out of the box features around the data blocks that we support, and even the monitoring as a feature and related recipes that we now support, but all, like a lot depends on the nature of your DNB license, and that will determine whether the monitoring enablement that we offer is really something that you can use, and not until you have the DNB license for it. What exactly is monitoring? So monitoring is nothing but it notifies users about any changes to the DNB data cloud against registered DUNS numbers. Secondly, it is the way it works is these are push notifications that are available at different intervals or frequencies. These push notifications come from DNB. Reltio supports, so there are different monitoring notification types that DNB supports. Instead of listing those, I would call out that Reltio today supports the full product monitoring notification type only. What exactly is the full product notification type? So this one delivers the entire JSON object whenever any monitored element changes. So to begin with, there are DUNS that are registered in a monitoring registration instance, and against those DUNS that are being registered, any changes that happen to any data element within a given DUNS, that notification comes as a full product notification for any of the monitored element changes. Now, within the pre-built integration, Reltio now has recently provided, as part of the new release, two monitoring registration modes. One is the automatic mode, followed by the ad hoc mode. What is the automatic mode? Well, it registers all new DUNS numbers automatically. Earlier, we would not have this capability. The DUNS that you would wish to register for monitoring used to be a conversation between our customers and their DNB rep, where that data would be shared around the DUNS, and those DUNS would then be included as part of your monitoring registration. What Reltio would do was ensure that it processes those monitoring notifications and updates your profiles, at the given chosen intervals. But now we also support automatic registration of the DUNS, and in the automatic mode, we say that we will do a daily sweep of all the new DUNS numbers entering the Reltio system. The ad hoc mode offers an additional flexibility where, given your license, if you haven't subscribed, if you have a license for a limited monitoring feature, you could register only selected DUNS numbers within your defined limits. And you could even like take out some DUNS and, any inactive DUNS and furnish this file with the new DUNS that you intend to monitor. So this gives you an ad hoc mode, or some sort of a flexibility and control over the DUNS that you really wish to monitor. So pushing forward, talking about the core solution in itself, there will definitely be certain prerequisites as you decide to onboard the DNB data blocks enrichment as a baseline integration that you would wish to adopt. First and foremost, it leverages the Reltio integration hub. These recipes, as much as they are out of the box, they are within the remit of the Reltio integration hub. Any future enhancements also to these recipes will be, as part of what we deliver through a RIH license. So definitely your teams would need, or the customers would need to have access to RIH, or the licensed or a license to RIH. And additionally, the Reltio enrichment with DNB will be an add-on product for in the name of additional data enrichment. So these are the two things, the prerequisites that you would have, in order to get started on the Reltio side of things. But as we spoke to about earlier, a lot of how this integration works with respect to your monitoring registration or with respect to your match or enrich limitations, the data blocks that you're licensed for, these purely and purely come from your license with DNB. So which are those data blocks that you're licensed for towards this enrichment, and whether monitoring is even part of your license or not. So the API keys that are shared by DNB with our customers, those are the keys that determine, the extent of your license or of your contract. So that's the third dependency and a very important one. Uh, on the last three ones, yes, one of the key prerequisites is that we say that your data model or your L3 should basically be one of the B2 MDM B2B or the FinServ Velocity Pack version 3.2. Even if it is lower than this, it doesn't stop you from adopting the solution, but there will be some exercise in trying to understand the differences, and it could be to do with remapping certain attributes just to ensure that you're in sync with the baseline integration. There may be additional attributes, or they may be modeled differently in case you're on an older version of a velocity pack. So we will call out that if you're on a velocity pack, B2B velocity pack version 3.2, this baseline integration starts from the word go. And on the last two ones, yes, you would need a dedicated AWS SQS queue. This is mainly important for your real-time enrichment needs. That's a specific enrichment mode that most customers would ideally, prefer to use. So you need a dedicated AWS SQS queue. And for those customers who would also be licensed for monitoring, which typically involves sending of those notification files for any updates that happen to your monitored elements. These will be tracked to an S3 bucket. So you would also need a dedicated AWS S3 buckets, and obviously specifically for those customers licensed for the DNB monitoring process. So that's speaking to the prerequisites around licensing and the tenant requirements. One point I wanted to definitely talk about, that why are we doing this webinar at all in the first place? The integration has been around for a while. What's changed? What's become better? So the key features here, the first one has been around for a while, since the time we chose that we offer these integrations via RIH. So they the newly developed integration is optimized, and it is an extensible recipe. So basically, we did refactor the design. We did, make it optimal and followed best practices further. It continues to be easily customizable for your business needs, like adding a new data block or remapping additional attributes. So it continues to have that inbuilt or inherent quality in it. The second one I was referring to, the automated monitoring registration, where we offer you two modes of automatic or ad hoc dunce registration that was introduced in this latest release. Uh, the third one, merge records by dunce crosswalks. So this is a new option to merge your profiles using the dunce crosswalk. Earlier, any crosswalk that used to come from DNB against your profiles, we would have a different naming convention. It would be tagged to a given URI and that dunce. So it would be two different DNB crosswalks. We had many customers requesting, especially customers of our Direct Plus connector, where merge would happen on the fly based on the DNB crosswalk ID being the dunce number alone. So now that's something that we have done for customers of our Direct Plus connector. You will now be able to retain the same behavior if you adopt the RIH solution. You will be able to merge your profiles by the dunce crosswalk alone. The next one, configurable match and merge rules. So you can fine tune the thresholds for auto merge versus potential matches. Here, the match and merge we are talking about is the one that matches with the DNB. DNB also has a confidence code, and say if that confidence code is in a range of 1 to 10, you could decide that anything that falls below a given confidence code should only show up as a potential match and should not go ahead and straight up merge with your original profile. So that fine tuning is being offered in this particular integration. A new thing that we have introduced on the crosswalk update side is we automatically track and load the latest DNB crosswalk enrichment update date. So update date as an attribute or as a metadata was missing earlier in our DNB crosswalks for folks who were re-enriching or doing a recertification of their existing profiles. So now it will carry the update date. This is to ensure that those who have re-enriched and use would say downstream would like to use specific survivorship rules that support a recency kind of a rule or a last updated date rule. That's where this would help those customers. And lastly, these have always been things that the RIH has offered, irrespective of which integration are we offering. So the enhanced properties, we have expanded the recipe properties for DNB for flexible configuration and filtering. Which are those records that you wish to filter before you send it for re-enrichment or recertification or as part of your batch. So there is a flexible config and filtering for those. And there is improved visibility. We continue to improve on how we give you access to your detailed logs, job statistics, and email notifications for better, monitoring of the overall enrichment process, irrespective of the enrichment mode. So next, what I would want to address is the enrichment modes overview. So here is where we now speak for the integration, the capability that is unique to the RIH offering. We are able to offer this enrichment via different enrichment modes. I will speak for at least 5 of them in this slide and the next one. So one is the real-time via SQS trigger. So this is event driven. It is triggered automatically whenever your record in Reltio is created, like newly created or undergoes an update. The trigger type again is automatic, and it is like the best for low latency enrichment of new or updated records. This is highly used one. It generally supports your incremental updates that happen in your system. The second one, the real time again, but this time driven by REST API needs. So here the architecture is really API call based. How does it get called? It is that these APIs are invoked directly. So at a ad hoc profile record level, these APIs are invoked via pre-configured UI buttons that we offer on the Hub UI, which enrich your records. So I will, in the demo, I will show you, this is the mode I will be using for the purposes of the demo. And I'll be able to show you these pre-configured UI buttons as well as the nature of enrichment that happens across the different data blocks. It is suitable for any testing as you initially load the baseline integration and wish to do a unit validation or a system integration validation. That's where this is the quickest mode to validate if things are working fine. The batch enrichment, again, this is a key feature for any initial data load needs. This is part of a scheduled bulk processing. What Reltio does here, it sends batches of records to the DNB for the relevant API calls via integration recipes. And here we can speak to the batch sizes. So the recommendation is that maximum 8,000 records per submission is recommended, and ideally smaller if you end up encountering, like undue latencies. And by the very nature of a batch, these can be scheduled as at to daily, weekly, monthly frequencies. And again, the enhanced filtering and configurations that we offer help to decide which entities or profiles make it to the batch. So those are the additional features that help you constitute your records for batch enrichment. And again, this is best for large scale enrichment and periodic data refreshes. And the last two modes that I want to talk about is the ones specifically dedicated towards monitoring. Monitoring registration. These are again scheduled registration jobs. These are new as part of this release. These recipes automate the DUNS registration for monitoring. You're already aware in the earlier slide that the modes that we offer are automatic or ad hoc. So either every dunce that is entering into your platform against, say, an organization entity or an account entity gets auto-registered for monitoring, or you choose the ad hoc method uh, select to make selective dunce for registration. This too is scheduled. The preference or the default is like a daily schedule, a 24-hour daily swipe or daily sweep of newly registered duns, and it is best for automating and managing which entities are tracked for monitoring. Now, that only answers for monitoring registration. There is also enrichment that has to happen based on those registered duns and your frequency that you have set up with DNB, whether it is daily, weekly, or monthly. You will get these monitoring notifications. I also mentioned that the only monitoring notification type we support as a Reltio capability is the full product notification from DNB. So this monitoring enrichment files or seed files that come in from DNB, they are the clearly change driven. That's where the S3 bucket comes into the picture. So DNB places these monitoring files into that S3 and the recipes pick them up. The batch size recommendation here is 3000 records per submission. And again, recommend anything smaller if you encounter undue latencies. And the trigger type here is configurable check interval. It could be the default of every 5 minutes, but that probably doesn't make sense because you would have an agreement of an intraday or a daily or a weekly interval of receiving these monitoring notifications with DNB. So it is best to be in lockstep with that configuration that you have with DNB. So the minimum we would recommend would be 24 hours or more. And what is it best for? It's purpose built. It is for ongoing updates to reflect the latest changes in company information. So you get the latest feed from DNB, and your LTO profiles reflect those latest changes that are happening in DNB. So that's talking for the enrichment, and that covers the enrichment modes we support. These are only these images are only indicative. I'll still go over these. Like the reason I put this is like most likely when you start with creation of an entity, let's say you have the bare minimum or skeletal information that is to do with the name of the organization and the address. Maybe in most cases, not even the website. But in this case, let's say these are the bare minimum that you really have, and these two can prove to be sufficient to find a relevant DNB match. DNB, based on the difference, like based on its own proprietary matching logic, will return the best match for the data submitted, or for the data provided by you, the skeletal data provided by you, which should at least have a company name and some elements of the address, and it should most likely succeed in returning a result of a sizable confidence code. Say if the confidence code ranges from 1 to 8, the approach would be that you get a result that is above the confidence code 6. So the default setting is any confidence code between 6 and 8 comes in as a potential match. You can configure that anything above 8 can straight away auto merge with your profile. At the same time, you could choose to put every match, the best match that is returned, even if it is of confidence code 10. You could configure it to be returned as a potential match for your review, unless a data steward explicitly chooses to merge that potential match. No amount of the high value of a confidence code will do an auto merge. So these are the configurations that you can manage at your end. On the right hand side, the arrow that you see pointing to those three buttons, these are those pre-configured UI buttons that we offer that support what we call as the real-time or the on-demand enrichment at the level of a single profile. So we will see these in an actual tenant. And the next slide talks about the update in itself, like when you've gone through the whole process of the DNB match, and then you have sought the second button, say the DNB company info and the hierarchies and contacts, which eventually also ties in with whether you get information around principals and contacts. So that's where you get a full-fledged picture. And I'm again referring to, what the pre-built capability supports today. And this is what you can expect your organization to look like. A lot more enriched information, embellished with details around your subscribe data blocks, especially the ones that Reltio supports out of the box. So this is indicative. Idea is to take you through a demo before we say come to a Q&A. So here I am on a test tenant. So let's start this journey fresh. Let's pick an organization to create through the traditional way of creating this organization in Reltio. Yes, it has to be slow when there is a demo. Let's give it some time. Let me simultaneously try starting a fresh session. Okay, I think this should work.
It's always when we're on Zoom that those things tend to be a little.
Oh, it has to happen. I'll be lucky. I'll be lucky if it doesn't. So yes, we go on organization. Let's create it the old school way. Let's pick a wildly popular company. The idea really behind is to take you through the motions of match, the traditional company information, and then also a chance to take a look at the hierarchies. So I have a company that everybody should be aware of. Yeah, so let me start with the bare minimum. What I have is just the name and address. So I have the name, address, and website as well, like, as my skeletal information. If I were to create a new address, I'll just update this address within the address input, whatever I have from, say, to start with Google Maps. And I'm specifically pointing, like, just to be, strategic about why we pick this example. This is talking about a subsidiary or a branch. Generally, it is talking about Adidas America. So the intention really here is to show you the upward hierarchy. We are all generally aware that Adidas is a European retailer of athleisure and sportswear. So ideally you would expect that when you source in hierarchical information, it would eventually fold into its global parent that is a German company. So that's why on purpose I've started with a subsidiary or a branch which is Adidas America, and let's see how the hierarchy shapes up. So I have the name, the address, and just to make life easy for a DNB match, maybe I'll just give some more detail around an active business address, and the website URL is all. So let me try saving this. Yeah. So nothing new here. No integration has come into the picture so far. This is just a normal profile creation via the Reltio UI. the name, address, and the website as you see reflecting here. You will see an additional option here. This will be part of any standard deployment of the DNB data blocks integration, where you will also see the pre-configured UI buttons as an additional panel which says DNB connector with these three options of getting the DNB match, the company info, and the hierarchy and contacts. Of course, it is recommended that you do it also exactly in this order because there is information that overlaps and is consequently dependent on the previous one. So you cannot possibly do hierarchies and contacts before you even get to a dunce number. We still don't have a dunce number for the organization that we created, which can come in from either the DNB match or say directly to by the company info. But let's go through the motions in a sequence. So let me start with DNB match. So typical message would be success. Please reload this profile and review the verification details to check whether a match was found and resolve the potential match to enrich the profile. Just reloading. So I'm refreshing this. Yeah. So on the face of it, I think if you have a very eager eye, you will notice that there is a potential match that has newly come up. If I go to potential matches, you will see, and now this potential match comes in from the DNB match, and it has returned a value. Again, it has not merged because that's the specific configuration I have set through the properties in RIH that I do not want it to merge. So you get a chance to review what has happened. You see that there is an address and there is a new Dun Bradstreet crosswalk that has been added with a dunce number to this. So there is a dunce number now with which your details have matched. And it talks about Adidas America Inc. Corporation. You're free to merge or you're free to jump to the next on-demand enrichment without taking any specific decisions around merging. So I'm just interested in checking, what else have I got? So the confidence score, another important variable. This is a confidence score 10. So I've had a high match for what I have submitted with DNB. If my rules were slightly flexible, I wouldn't have to trouble a data steward to take merging action explicitly on this record. This could have merged directly with the source record without having to go through a potential match decision. This purely for the sake of the demo on what the button returns is why I have put this in a particular way. If there is anything else, match quality, identifiers, let's. Yeah, I included a specific attribute in this display because what has updated to is it says it's a potential match found by Dun and Bradstreet for the original record. And the second one, which has come in as a potential match, waiting for your explicit confirmation. It's has a status of its own saying enriched potential match by Dun and Bradstreet. So we haven't merged it yet, and my intention is not to merge it. This is just to show the match in action. So I go forward, I would jump into DNB. I'll leave the potential match as is. Now, if I were to do get DNB company info, there won't be any further surprise. It is very much the same record with which we are going to match. The only thing that DNB company info will not care for is creating a potential match all over again. What it does is it uses this high confidence score 10 record and merges it with the original source record that you see here right now. So you will see a lot more qualified information on this entity. Yet you will see the DUNS and not just the DUNS, you will also see a lot of DNB enrichment data under this facet. So let me not overpromise, let it work the way it is designed. Success, the profile should now be updated with the latest company information. Okay. Yeah. I would still reload the profile before I go to any other action around pulling hierarchies and contacts. So I would still reload this profile. And this is where you see the further enriched information, uh, attributes such as trade style names, almost everything except the original name, website, and the address. That to the address that I had submitted as a business address was the 5055 Greeley Avenue. But now I have got a mailing address around Marylhurst, Orlando, and I have got, or maybe Oregon, and then I have got a shipping business address type linked against the original business address that I originally entered. So, and apart from that, now you have phone details, you have a lot of industry classification information, organization details, data provider hierarchy. I'll come to that. Before I go to that, let me talk about the confidence code, which now reflects here. It is 10 and it follows a lot more other sub attributes that DNB provides here at a individual attribute level within the address. And you get linked companies details as well. You get to see employee count, your sales revenue amount. So these are information, as long as you have the necessary licenses, especially around data blocks such as company information, you are privy to all this information for your customers, vendors, suppliers, partners, whatnot. And furthermore, DNB enrichment data, DUNS number, industry classification, and the key financial figures overview as well. What we still don't have, again, identifiers also, the DUNS number and the, so I've repeated this because I can configure this the way I want it in the UI facets. And the some key identifiers around business registration number, federal taxpayer number, all these are from DNB. Now I have strategically placed contact and DNB hierarchy facets here as well, but these currently do not hold any information. That is because this information primarily comes from the hierarchies and contacts, or the hierarchies and connections, as well as the principals and contacts data block, provided you're licensed for it. So the demo license that I have with my DNB partners, it supports it, and it also comes out of the box, so it better support it. So I'll go to the third one. Just special emphasis on maybe making a visual note of contact and DNB hierarchy facet as of now. And before I jump, maybe just I go to sources, and this is where you will see the different information against the Dun and Bradstreet crosswalk. So that's a lot of information that has come that is tagged against the DNB crosswalk. And the ones that were pure red Leo were limited to the original information we submitted around the first address, as well as the name that we gave, Adidas America Inc. But Dun and Bradstreet also sent its own crosswalk around the company name. So now for hierarchies and connections, I click the third option. Success. If contact and hierarchy data was available, this profile should now be enriched with the corresponding company hierarchy and principal contacts relationships. Please reload the profile. Even though you do see the information already, I will do a reload anyway before taking any other action. Yep. So of course you notice that there is no potential match anymore. So this did not happen in the third step. This is something I missed telling you, that during the get DNB company info, the one that appeared as a potential match during the DNB match, that was the one that the record which was used in full for the the final enrichment when we did a get DNB company info. So this one has no longer any potential matches. It merged with the high confidence record source from DNB. And as part of the hierarchy and contacts, you will notice now we have additionally a contact for this particular company, Adidas. And most importantly, hierarchy. We were alluding to this example that we purposely chose an Adidas America subsidiary when we started creating a branch or a subsidiary. It folded into Adidas North America. So there was another parent in the picture. And beyond that, it went to the global ultimate, which is the Adidas AG. And I believe this is the German headquarter and the global ultimate for the Adidas Corporation. So you do get a nicely structured hierarchy that were able to source because you were licensed for the hierarchies and connections data blocks from DNB. There are different ways of visualizing this hierarchy. You could go to the graph. You could specifically choose DNB hierarchy, and I'm just making it vertical for ease of viewing. And you see that your focus was on Adidas America when you started your journey, but as you incorporated, these enriched elements, the hierarchy view ended up giving you more information about Adidas North America and Adidas AG, which became the overall global ultimate. So this is what both from getting this data to viewing it is supported when you go through this entire sequential enrichment process, especially the ones we support out of the box. If I were to quickly look at sources again, uh, you will notice that you have data from Dun & Bradstreet and anything that where the cleanser had a role to play with respect to your addresses. And yeah, so the global ultimate details and the domestic ultimate details. So these are what cater to the information that you got from the hierarchy, and not just the hierarchies and connections, which actually helps build the up the family or the tree. When I was talking about a, um, yeah. When I was talking about the data provider hierarchy, which came in as part of the DNB company info, this did not establish a hierarchy, but this did give you information about the upward family tree, which is that you do get information around a global ultimate. And it also tells you that if you were subscribed for the hierarchies and connections, you will get, not just one, but two levels of information. One would be on North America and one would be on the global ultimate, which is the Adidas AG. And it's only when you did the hierarchies and connections enrichment that it reflected in your DNB hierarchy facets and in the contacts facet for the contact, as well as in the graph tab. That's where the experience became visual. So in a nutshell, that is what the integration looks like. I kept the console open only to to show like something that delves into how these recipes were constructed or formatted for easy understanding. All the connections are clubbed in a single folder, whether it is the connection you require for your real-time enrichment via AWS SQS. If you're subscribed to monitoring, then you need the S3 bucket connections. These primarily your Reltio tenant that you're connected to. And this would be your DNB services connection, the API key based on your DNB contract that they provide to you. This determines exactly the licenses that you have and the data blocks that you are subscribed to. And you can always list all these that you're subscribed to, and these are part of the initial configurations that the documentation will help you supplement. So without delving into the recipe in itself, I mean, we focused on the real-time integration or the on-demand enrichment. I would rather open up the forum if there are any questions. Happy to answer for the next 5 minutes.
Hey Karthik, Nilay here.
Hi, Nilay.
Hey man, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you for joining.
Yeah, all good, all good. Have you ever enriched any supplier informations to DNV? What is your experience on that in terms of supplier data, not the organizations? We are thinking of building
So,
a supplier master and enriching through
okay.
DNV. That is why wondering if you have any experience.
Yeah, so I would not allude to my personal experience, but these are my conversations with DNB, where they have
Mm-hmm.
numerous customers who leverage that product for supplier details as well. Because I was somewhere in my presentation, I was referring to customers wanting to like segregate or segment their supplier data so that there is diversity in the suppliers they do business with, and keep their fallbacks open in case a supplier in a real world scenario, a supplier goes bankrupt, or is reporting pre-screening failures, or has a poor credit score. So these are the information that you can extract regarding your suppliers in order to take quick
Yeah. So do you know
decisions.
what will be the data blocks we should be targeting for supplier? Because that is what I was thinking. Because the current data block, whatever is integrated with your RH recipe, that won't
Mhm.
bring those informations, right? Risk assessment and financial information. Those things will not be available, right?
Yes. So the answer is a yes and no. If it is very heavily, towards getting a credit risk assessment or a pre-screening score, no doubt you're right that, quite a few critical attributes that you're referring to may sit under data blocks that we do not support out of the box. So bringing those data blocks into, like aping those recipes the way we have done for different data blocks, that yes is a customization, but not a huge load. It is something that we even offer guidance, at least through our documentation, on how you could do that. But yes, they do not come out of the box. And to your original question, that are these, will such indicators be supported by DNB? I think my conversations tell me that indeed. I mean, your question actually caters to a core use case that DNB would solve for through a data block or more.
Okay, another quick question that regarding this hierarchy, right, is bringing the
Hmm.
global ultimate and domestic ultimate, all these parents informations. That means, is this creating those parent record directly into LTO with only DNB crosswalk and creating a relationship with that particular profile?
Yes, so it is. So what we call them as is shell records. So these are not fully enriched. So in the Adidas example that you saw, let me even show you here. So in this case, I think, yeah, this was the one. So your original record continues to be the Adidas America one, which we explicitly enriched. But if I were to go to the North America one, you will see that it has the bare minimum details, literally
Okay.
down to the name, address, and the DUNS number. They are excluded because we also have to be mindful that if these also are auto enriched, it will hurt your task consumption. So unless you want
So
to
if I have
specifically.
this parent record, right? If I have this parent
Mhm.
record in our organizations, Adidas North America INC, then automatically these two will be merged. The DNB provided shell record along with the existing records.
If you already have a parent.
Yeah. Suppose I have both
Yes.
the parent record as well as the child record, right?
Yes. So the reason the answer is yes is if you choose merging of your records by the DUNS crosswalk, then in that case, one, your match rules alone will determine that if you have two records with the same DUNS, then they should ideally be merged even prior to say us going through a DNB check. And second, yes, we offer that if you happen to have the DNB crosswalk ID itself has the same DUNS, then these two records will get merged just because the merge crosswalk by DUNS is set to true.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Nilay.
Why all the
But
connectors, whatever you are building in RIH only talks with AWS SQS? Why not you guys integrate with the Google PubSub or Azure?
I wish I had a good answer for that. I think right now we are focused on AWS going by the profile of our customers as well. But Nilay, that doesn't mean if that makes you feel excluded, I would highly encourage you bring this to our notice. And if you have already, please guide me if I can highlight this internally.
Yeah, we are using GCP, right? When we bought
Right.
Reltio, so we are using GCP. Now we are using Salesforce connector as well. And for Salesforce connector, we also need to have a AWS SQS,
AWS.
right? So RI should be able to connect with the PubSub as well. That's what I was wondering. There should not be much issue, right? It's just a queue
Yes, I
while
mean,
your
from
email
a
is publishing.
connector point of view and what RI supports, that in itself, the capability exists. But yes, you're right that when I churn this out, as a product out of the box, it doesn't come with it.
Thank you.
Was there another question I heard? I'm happy to take one
I,
more.
I was asking the same thing, like, do you also support the Azure Service Bus for the real-time enrichment? But since like this answer is no, it was already answered.
You're talking about GCP itself, like support for other.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so I take note of this question. I'll
Yeah.
see how the roadmap looks or any constraints around it. But thank you for raising it anyways.
Yeah, and one other question I saw, like, the you can add filters on the confidence code. I know there are other attributes like match grade. Can we also add that in the condition for the?
So, I mean, those details will definitely come out as part of, say, the documentation. But if I
Mhm.
were to show you like a quick understanding when I talk about the recipe properties, so these are, the various properties, like where we set the batch size limits also, the
Mhm.
different data blocks that you're subscribed to, like here. Then do you want to merge or not merge based on the duns that matches that you get, and the confidence code that you are specifically referring to. So say by default,
Yeah.
the auto merge code is set to 8 because DNB provides it on a scale of 1 to 10, and potential
Yeah.
match is set to something, that is 6 or less.
Yeah, my question is, along with this confidence code, there are other attributes like match grade and a few others. So can we
Okay.
also add them in?
Again, I mean, I wouldn't say no because that does down to, comes down to customization. If you were
Mm-hmm.
to include any properties and then refer to that within the recipe customizations that you do. So it doesn't stop you from doing it. But if
Okay.
you ask me, does my solution offer it? The answer is no.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for answering that. That's all the
Thank you,
questions I
Joe.
have.
If we have any other questions, if you guys could please either ask them into the chat right now, or when I post this show up on the community blog, we can actually answer them in that blog as well. So just keep an eye out. We will be following up with an email with the link to that blog. But thank you guys so much. We are over time. I just wanted to mention really quickly that we have another show coming up September 10th with on Survive and Thrive, Mastering Data Survivorship in Reltio. And then we have scheduled a show for September 26th. It is not live on community yet. We are still working through just confirming that date, but that will be likely September 26th on Agent Flow. So we hope that you will join us, and thank you guys so much for being here, and we'll see you at the next community show.